Hello everyone. This is your host Akeel Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. On today's episode, we'll be talking about why you need to use an omni-channel approach in your marketing campaigns to drive more sales to your startup. Today we have our guest, I'm going to say it wrong, Rytis Lauris, joining us. Rytis is a serial entrepreneur of various startups and an expert on e-commerce, online marketing, and email marketing. In 2009, he was the founder of TreeNex, which is a company focused on environmental services. Rytis was also the co-founder of IQ Polls, which is an easy-to-use voting tool that interacts with the audiences during conferences, seminars, and training sessions. In 2019, he became the founder and CEO of Soundist, which first started off as a digital marketing agency operating in the Baltic states. But then in 2014, he transitioned to focus on a newly built email marketing platform. 3 years later, Rytis is still the co-founder and CEO of the now renamed platform known today as Omnisend. His startup Omnisend is an all-in-one and omni-channel e-commerce marketing automation platform that helps companies boost their sales by converting their visitors and retaining their customers through personalized messages. Hopefully I got that right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rytis, and glad to have you on our show.
Hey, Keel, thanks so much for inviting. And you did your homework so good. I mean, you have introduced me like really in a comprehensive way. So really, thank you.
No worries. No, before we get into it, I want to get kind of a background of the current situation with the COVID-19 virus. I know your target audience for your startup being an e-commerce specifically. What changes, trends, and effects have you seen with your customers, specifically in Omnisend due to the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Like interesting time to live, and challenging times, I believe, for everyone. But as I always say, it's still much better than a war. So I believe it's really manageable, etc. And yeah, you're right. We at Omnisend, we mainly serve e-commerce customers, so those who sell online. So I have no doubts that in general for e-commerce, this crisis and this virus situation is really beneficial and really helpful to really move offline retail towards digital world, towards internet, and then e-commerce. And so that's definitely the fundamental shift which is happening. And we're already strong believers that in like perspective, like 5 to 10 years, entire retail will be blended with what is e-commerce now, and there will be just an omni-channel commerce. As customers will be able to really purchase in our most like convenient way, and we will not be forced to go somewhere to try to find what fits you, or maybe just buy online without the ability to try it out. So that's definitely the direction the entire retail and e-commerce we're going, like blending and becoming like omni-channel experience for the customers. So this COVID situation really accelerates that like a lot. And now I'm much more optimistic that instead of like 5 to 10 years, it might happen like 3 to 5 years or something like that. In a short term, it's and e-commerce is growing. Like I just recently saw some statistics like that. It took like 10 years for like digital retail within the US to go from 6% to 16%.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past couple of months, like March and April, it just bumped up to 25% of all like entire US retail expenditure went digital. So kind of plus 9% in a couple of months, and it took 10% to happen 10 years. So that's a huge acceleration. And it's already taking long enough to build new habits, new customer habits, consumer habits, to buy online, to trust online sellers, online stores, etc. So that's so we serving those e-commerce stores. We strongly believe that in mid and long term, it's going to be like super beneficial for us. In a short term, like the very beginning of a crisis was challenging for us, like especially February, as we're recording now in May. So February was the most challenging for us because a lot of our customers got cut from their supply chains, and the factories and warehouses were shut down in China, and we just got no inventory to sell. But once China opened, and let's say Western world or the rest of the world got locked down, so our customers start getting back and selling again, and a lot of like old offline companies start like investing more and more and getting serious about their online presence. Yeah, so I mean, small challenges, but still, then I meet friends who own bars, let's say. So, I don't want to complain, but we maybe just double this year. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And then, our theme of this, podcast is focusing on the omni-channel marketing. For those in our audience who don't understand what that is, could you explain what omni-channel marketing is and why is it so important to incorporate that in your overall marketing campaigns?
Yeah. So, following to what I just said, that we strongly believe that commerce is going to be omnichannel, and this is like holistic experience for the consumers, that they are being able to buy wherever they want in their preferred channels. And so we believe that marketing should be following that trend, and us marketers should provide a unique experience for customers and ability for them to choose which are their preferred channels for us brands, retailers, or stores to communicate with them. So that's basically the key concept, that if the consumer prefers email, that's perfect. If the one prefers SMS, perfect. Messengers, perfect. Push notifications, all in one tool. And just on top of it, there's like multi-channel, omni-channel approaches. So multi-channel is basically when using those different channels, but you are using them separate. An omnichannel, when you put them on a single flow, and you are basically using one tool, and you have 360-degree like picture of your customer, and instead of just start bombarding with different messages at the same time, you can put it on one flow. And to give you an example, Akeel is visiting our website, and then that specific product of like category of products, and instead of like start bombarding through like 4 different channels, we initially send an email. If Akeel is ignoring our email, we follow up with push notifications, messenger, and like finally, let's say, with text message. Yeah, so that's the key difference from the multi-channel approach.
Yeah, generally when you go to like a SaaS startup, you go through their freemium kind of onboarding sequence. You'll get all those kind of email campaigns coming towards your way. What trends are you seeing now that are becoming, would you say, more effective? Whether it's SMS, text, WhatsApp. I don't know if you're also doing that, push notification, or is email marketing still the kind of most valuable marketing channel to consider?
Yeah, so email is still the most valuable and the most effective, but email augmented with other channels is the best. So we see, like, to give you like some statistics, we just made some study, like those who use at least 3 channels instead of just one channel among our customer base, so they see like 90% higher retention. So it's like insane increase in the retention, and like other metrics like getting high as well. So it's the best is really to use the combination. If we talk about like sole channels, so email is the most effective. SMS, it's renaissance, really. ROIs are great, and then like click-through rates are great, and the conversion rates are great with SMS. Just the only challenge that usually the subscriber list, which allow you to send SMS, is still much smaller comparing to what you have in your email list. So, but definitely SMS, it's a must use for every marketer, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can see that
And
through
you mentioned WhatsApp. You
yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned like WhatsApp or like Messenger. So those would be great channels, but like technically they have so many restrictions that there is no room for creativity of marketers to really use it in a creative way.
Yeah, I'm always looking at that because I know big marts, like for example, like in Brazil or even I think in Mexico, their main focus is everybody just is on WhatsApp to do business, right? Whereas I think in North America, it's not normal; it's more for like family and friends. But then also, you talk about SMS text, like you look at Twilio, kind of in the last few months how they kind of blow up. So I imagine a lot of people are just stuck on their phones now, and maybe texting seems to be a better channel to look at. Yeah.
Yeah. And from a consumer, because that what makes the channel attractive is really if it's like convenient for consumer to use this channel. So email was like the most convenient channel because you are in control of the inbox. You can unsubscribe easily. You can just ignore messages. You can skip. You can report the spam if it's a spam, etc. So, and with text messages, there was a challenge that it was like super difficult to unsubscribe. And if someone starts spamming you, you just don't have what to do,
True.
which is not the case anymore. Let's say in the United States or Canada, so you just reply with stop message and it's being stopped automatically. It's just obligatory to have this. In other, like all around the world, let's say what we do, we put just a short link. If you want to subscribe, click here. Just a short link. And it's as easy as to unsubscribe from email. Just a couple of clicks and you opt out. So it's much more comfortable for customers to leave their phone number and to be sure that I can stop anytime, then I don't want to receive those messages anymore.
Makes sense. Yeah, I like that, having a little link I could just click on and go away. Versus, I know some you have to reply, say stop to reply, right? But yeah. And I read that when you guys initially started off, so you were an agency, and then I think you built this product. You started off as a product-led company, so and you focused on your integrations, building a really good product, and then you started to focus on marketing. I don't remember. Can you tell me, how long was it from when you first started? Did you say, okay, we should start marketing per se, and focus our efforts there? Which I know now you guys are doing a more balanced approach, and I know there is marketing value through integrations and whatnot, but curious how that conversation and decision went like.
Yeah, so it took us about, not took us, but maybe we just benefited from piggybacking from just general e-commerce growth and hosted platforms growth at that time. So Shopify, BigCommerce, Ticktail, which really had a great initial traction, which finally was acquired by Shopify. So yeah, and we worked really product-led organizations for almost 4 years after the launch. So in our path, it was like this: like we built a product. It took us 2 years to really reach the break even, and to find how to monetize the product. So still for a couple of years after launch, we continue like doing agency services, providing agency services, and basically subsidizing the product.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of years to really understand how to monetize this, and then 2 years like we really relied on product itself, and then yeah, after 4 years since the launch, we started like really heavily investing in marketing and go to market activities.
Interesting. And do you think that was the right decision, like waiting that 4-year period? And would you advise the same for other startup founders, to just focus on product and not worry about just investing in PPC, SEO, and whatnot?
So it's probably one of the things which kind of led us to that path. That was kind of a decision not to fundraise and not to raise money, but to bootstrap or basically be funded by our customers who are paying each month for you, and then basically have to prove each month that you are the best investment for like thousands of your customers and tens of thousands now. So that was one of the things. We didn't have like too much resources actually to invest, so we had to be, and we still have to be, very very like smart, and then really focus on what drives the most, like the less effort drives the highest output.
Mm.
So yeah, so basically that was probably the combination of that initially that was kind of good enough for us, and then we started to invest. Would I advise like someone else to go that direction? For us, it worked, but it was 4 years ago, so
Mm-hmm.
the situation might be different. E-commerce just really started to boom that time, and e-commerce in general, as an industry, it's pretty conservative. Although it's kind of a paradox. I mean, it's e-commerce, those who are digitalized, but those people usually are not like super tech savvy. They're not early adopters. Usually, our customers, they wait for others to try it out, because it's sensitive. I mean, we
Yeah.
work with their money. We help them either to earn more or to lose if we fail with our services. Uh, so so like some time to really to prove that you can provide good quality, reliable services, and so sometimes it just takes time, and sometimes you can accelerate with money, but not always. So
Mm. So it's just a matter of like balancing out, whether you want to take user feedback and slowly build on the quality and still manage your users' expectations versus just, accelerating growth and maybe sacrificing on, maybe quality, which, I guess it's a personal decision,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a balance, like acquiring new customers versus retaining existing ones. So,
Yeah.
and what you just said, more the better you balance, the better long-term results you get, and the better satisfaction, the longer life cycle of your existing customer base, and what happens like finally that your customer acquisition cost goes down.
Exactly.
Because you get a lot of like word of mouth and all of those. If you want to accelerate, so definitely your customer acquisition cost just skyrockets, and you may have some challenges with your retention and churn control.
Which is a nice benefit that you guys were bootstrapped and you don't have that external pressure to hit your metrics and grow as quickly as possible, right? And if you had that cash and you had to deliver, then you might have to sacrifice, right? And luckily, you guys didn't have to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Who are you guys'
Just a
target?
different.
Yeah, just a different approach. And who are your guys' targeted audiences, or I don't know if it's the same right now. Like, whether are you all more SMBs, early stage e-commerce stores, mid-level marketers, or are you focused on enterprise? And I think I read somewhere where you guys have a longer sales cycle, so I'm assuming it's more enterprise. But I just wanted to clarify for
Mhm.
our audience.
So no, it's not enterprise. Actually, we have started as really like serving micro to small businesses. Now we are serving like really beginners to mid-size. So somewhere up to from very really beginner to like 20-30 million GMV. That's our sweet spot, and we kind of have a layer approach that it should be very easy to start like using Omnisend, and like learning curve. We try to keep it like super flat, and then if you want like some advanced features, capabilities, they are under the hood, just under the advanced settings or so. So once you start like using a bit, and you can do really robust things. So we have started this like with serving those beginners, like micro to small businesses, now all the way to that like mid size, but still it's SMB. And I believe you've read about like longer sales cycles is like probably the longest sales cycle is with the smallest customers, because we have quite generous free plan. So just if you're just launching an online store for a few months, free plan of Omnisend is like more than enough for you. So I believe you read that from the install moment to like a paying customer, yeah, on average it takes almost half a year. So, but basically it's impacted by the smallest customer, actually, not by the large ones. With larger customers, it's like around 3 months, so pretty healthy, I would say.
Okay, so you mean, yeah, the sales cycle, I guess, because you offer the 15,000 emails per month, it takes them a while to build up their business to be able to upgrade. Um, Okay, and how are you guys different? And when for me, what comes to mind when I think e-commerce, email marketing, first starting off, I'm building my store. You hear Mailchimp, probably Drip are the two that kind of come to mind. How are you guys kind of different, and why would we consider somebody like yourself over them?
That's a very good question. So first thing, which really kind of a small detail. So we are built for e-commerce from the very beginning. So a lot of like presets and like e-commerce as a business in mind. So everything like all the flows, reporting is everything around e-commerce. It's just it's always like the specialized solution is always better than just one fits all solutions. So that's the first thing I would say. Second thing is really omnichannel. So having different channels in one tool. So email, text messages, web push notifications, Facebook Messenger, and even the ability to synchronize your list with Facebook lookalike audiences, or like Google for retargeting or lookalike campaigns. So yeah, so all those different like capabilities are in one tool. So and we have like pop-ups and sign up forms to really capture leads, etc., alongside with integrations with like just Tuno Preview or other tools to capture emails. So yeah, so basically, a specialized tool is always serves better your needs if you are selling online. If you are not selling online, so Mailchimp, Drip, any other tools. They're great tools, and definitely use them.
Yeah, like, well, if you're getting 90% increase in you said in retention, having that omni-channel, I guess that's a huge game changer between
Yeah,
them as well. So what have
yeah,
you?
it is a huge, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask, what is the most effective, top of the funnel channel that you guys found through your demand generation program? I know you guys are running different marketing campaigns now that are actually driving, top of the campaign, market qualified leads for you guys.
Yeah, so I would say few is still like integrations and being like deeply integrated into ecosystems.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Shopify, it's Ecommerce, Vue and Magento is really becoming more and more important for us. Yeah, so it's one thing. Second thing is SEO and content marketing in general. So really providing good quality content, some infographics, analytics. So we have kind of pretty decent customer base. So we tend to like have some reports every half a year to basically share some like unique numbers which other companies maybe don't have, etc. So yeah, so basically that's yeah. We have kind of a unique term, it's general findability.
Okay.
So I'm still not sure if we are able to like to stimulate the demand, but if demand does exist and someone, let's say, have started their marketing campaigns using Mailchimp and they're looking to upgrade and to like to really do it better, like more automations, omnichannel, and then really more targeted and segmented campaigns for their e-commerce stores. So they're looking for a solution. So us just to be findable anywhere our potential customer could be looking for a solution. Yeah. So that's basically the strategy.
So integrations and then SEO are probably the two big ones. I was speaking with the Amelia over as the CEO at Growth Hackers, and she was saying when they run growth experiments, the data shows that 75% of growth experiments, we hear what's working, but 75% of the ones that failed. And we probably don't hear about those ones. So I guess what's important, and those are important learnings. Could you share anything? What was least effective, or you consider valuable failed growth experiments that you guys have seen, whether it's paid, whether other kind of channels that you've tried and just failed?
Yeah, paid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
paid.
paid
Okay.
fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just probably the competition is just too high and too broad, and there are not so many like really long tail keywords which really reflects, and customers are not looking for like let's say before they find us, or like some of our competitors, uh, they don't necessarily know that there is kind of a dedicated specialized solutions for e-commerce stores. So they're basically looking for just email marketing, let's say, solutions or for SMS solutions. So paid is like just too expensive, doesn't pay back. And another fail, I would say, as I said, like initially we kind of launched some integrations like Shopify, BigCommerce, Ticktail, and they were like super successful for us for like the beginning. It really took off. So we thought that okay, any platform you're going to make an integration and you're going to be published on their app stores, it's just going to work. But it didn't. So we made other integrations with like WooCommerce, Magento, which now it's pretty growing pretty fast and really good. But just the app stores doesn't drive anything.
Really?
So you have you have to get deep into ecosystem. You have to work on like content. Opinion leaders, agencies, which is really like getting more and more important for us, is like channels, partnerships, etc. So that's, I would say, another lesson that some of ecosystems, they just drive you if you just get good reviews and you are like highly rated on app stores. Some of them just don't work that way. So that's another lesson, I would say.
Do you have a system or way of verifying now and checking? It's like, okay, you've integrated with like maybe 50 different companies now. Okay, what to look for, and okay, this is going to work, or is this going to be a complete waste of your time, or is it just really like you have to wait and test it out and wait till the reviews kick in, and then you might see it afterwards?
So probably like the second, yeah.
The second one, yeah,
yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Because kind of it's always good to learn from other mistakes, but other people mistakes or companies mistakes. But I mean, if you have like companies, and we do have like peer companies with whom we like talk a lot, and they are in our industry, they're not competitors, but they're kind of facing exactly like the same challenges or similar challenges. So it's very good to learn from each other. But let's say if someone failed 1 year ago, or maybe someone succeeded 1 year ago, so the context has changed
That's
a
right.
lot in 12 months. Yeah, so you should try on your own, and then the outcome might be completely different to what someone just told because we tried 1 year ago.
True. And then on the paid side, so you're all talking about Google AdWords. So I know email marketing campaign keywords are insanely expensive just from a cost per click. I think I've seen it before, something in a $20 range for some of those keywords. A
Even a bit more. At
bit
least
more.
when we
Okay.
tried, that was like 30 to 35, like
Wow.
this. Yeah, so
Yeah.
insane.
Super expensive. Did you guys try on like the Facebook or other channel side as well?
Yeah, so from like paid, if you can call it paid, or you can call it like referral. So like sites like G2, Capterra. So basically those review sites, independent review sites, where
Okay.
you
Yeah.
ask your customers to leave reviews there.
Yeah.
So if you have a good product and you get good evaluation there and a good star rating, so in combination with buying their paid plans, so they kind of drive a pretty decent amount of leads for us.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. And I know you guys provide more advanced segmentation when you build, when e-commerce stores want to build their email marketing campaigns. Um, can you share some stats or results you see when, say, adding that personalization? Because I know that's another big thing into the different channel for buyers versus because a lot of them don't offer that kind of functionality.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so again, from one of our research, I can give you provide some statistics. Yeah, so like targeted campaigns, when you really personalize, and basically trigger based campaigns, when you identify what your customers are doing on your site, and based on that you send like the content accordingly. So yeah, so segmented campaigns provide almost 35% high open rates, and 26% more orders from each campaign comparing. Yeah, so pretty decent increase. And yeah, comparing just to spray and pay
Yeah.
and spray and pray campaigns. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, 30, let's say 30% just by taking a little
Mhm.
bit more time to, fine tune
Mhm.
your audience, and same email list, same everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And well, what's the beauty of automation here is like there are two approach of like personalization and targeting. First one is basically you take the customer base, and you try to find a segment, and then it's kind of analytical approach that you do homework, you like slice them, and you find, okay, this is the segment, I will send that message to that segment. It's one approach, which is already very effective. But what is even more effective is basically to build automations. So, when Akeel is visiting, or like any other visitor is visiting that product category and have not bought from us in the past 3 months, uh, but we have his email. So let's initiate automatically this campaign with this product in the list. Let's say the product which was visited, as well as the product which Akeel bought the last time, etc., etc. So it's kind of another level of personalization, and you just build automated like automation sequences and automated campaigns, and you just basically forget or like fine tune them later. And just the tools like Omnis and our competitors, we just work on behalf of the marketer. So, and for the customer is really that's the real personalization, because this is how the customer or showed us like some signals are providing some data, and showed what his or her intent actually is.
So you guys analyze the data of like their not only what their their email and their profile, but also their purchasing behavior, and then based off that, you send emails based off
Yeah,
action
yeah.
or inaction in this case, or haven't bought in a while. Yeah, usually you're buying every month. What happened? Here's a
Mhm.
discount code. Come back in. Cool.
Yeah, very good examples, and this data is much more valuable. And those segments based on behavioral data and like personalization based on behavioral data is much more effective comparing to, let's say, demographic data. It doesn't matter if you are male or female, if you're young or old. I mean, if you're interested in like iPhone or Samsung phone, it doesn't matter your gender or your age.
Are you guys currently using some kind of machine learning or AI program? Are you guys consider using that to have that feature for your users, so they don't have to kind of come up with that plan? You just let the model kind of learn from like I think Amazon uses this to learn what the purchasing behavior, and then send out triggered emails based on what worked in the past.
Yeah, so we have a small team of like data scientists, and we are still, I would still consider like experimenting on that. We don't have like much in place, but we're already working for some time. And yeah, so in kind of in the roadmap, we have like send time optimization. It's where instead of just optimizing by time zones or your past behavior, is really to be able, again, behavioral data, and to be able to identify when Akeel or Rytis wants to possibly open next email campaign. Yeah, so it's the closest we want to release. The other thing which we are kind of working a lot is really to help make emails look better. So kind of fine tuning colors and changing background to unify colors, etc., which more applicable like and needed for smaller customers group, for smaller customers in general, who don't have like design skills in house, etc. So or design competences in house.
Okay, cool. That's exciting. If it once you guys roll that out, it'll be interesting to see that. What are at the stage at where you guys are right now with the Omnisend? What are some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now? If you guys are growing, quite well, but obviously different challenges. What would you say those are right now?
So COVID and obviously added some complexity, and like as organization. So I would say like communication, and we kind of named it like some time ago, that internal communication is the biggest challenge, and really new responsibilities across continents. We have like a vast majority of our team is based in Europe, in Lithuania, in Vilnius. We have US office. We just opened it like 6 months ago. Now there are 13 people there already, so like growing quite rapidly. So sometimes up to 10 hours time zone differences. So those kind of internal challenges, and external is always to find new ways to grow, because each technique which works for you kind of reach those glass ceilings
Yeah.
at some point, and you have to find new ways to grow. So that's the challenge, which has not changed since the
Yeah.
beginning, I would say.
Just never ends. It's the new kind of challenge, right? Yeah. That's fun. And were you guys already remote before the changes, or did you guys have to make that transition because you had the office and then moving people home?
Yeah, so we were kind of like hybrid and partially remote. So that was not the kind of a big thing. A part of those who were forced to stay basically with their kids at home. So
Yeah, exactly.
those people had kind of the biggest challenge, not because of lack of like remote practices, but just because of like trying to be like mother or father, and then the get like complete the company, and then at the same time, and the teacher, because you had to take care of homeschooling at the same time. So probably for those people it was the most challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Hypothetical question. If you were to go back and build, let's say, Omnisend, you maybe moved on, sold it, whatever. You were to build a completely new startup today. Which industry would you focus on? Would you stay in, marketing tech? And how would you validate your product as quickly as possible this time, where it took you 2 years, maybe, or longer the first time?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question. So, e-commerce, I would stay at e-commerce. Yeah. So I like this industry in general, and yeah, maybe e-commerce even more than the martech angle, I would say. Yeah, because as we kind of talked through it a bit, so it's really growing market niche, and it's constantly innovating, and a lot of like challenges, and I believe a lot of disruptions is just waiting us in the coming like 10 years. So that's really a fascinating industry to be now. So yeah, probably I would stay in e-commerce field. And how would I test it? So the key lesson I've learned, and believe us as a company learned, and I would give an advice for everybody starting a company, is really as soon as possible find a really monetizable customer pain. For what? What kind of value can you create for customers for them to be willing to pay for you? So I mean, because you can provide some nice to have services and nobody will want to pay. One thing, you can provide some maybe very like necessary to have services, but maybe just like too narrow scope, etc. And again, nobody will be willing to pay you. So really to find that balance, what service, what kind of problem are you really solving, and how you present it to your customers, and for them to be willing to pay for you. So that's, I believe, exactly the challenge we had with my previous, especially IQ Pulse. You've mentioned while introducing me, my previous like failed startups. There was a nice to have solution, but then you asked customers to pay, nobody was willing to pay for it. Although free version was very popular.
Wow, so people wanted that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just not worth paying for. So be the was it the painkiller? Don't be the vitamin, right? Is that the saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what was the moment that you realized, okay, this is what we need to do to be the painkiller? Was it just from like speaking to those customers and just like learning the behavior and like, now we know why they're not paying. Let's move here. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, there was no kind of single aha moment. It was just, gradual process. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's all about listening to your customers, either like physically talking to them or like having some online service, asking NPS questions, and if they churn, asking them why do they churn, and if they choose you, why do they choose you, etc., etc. So it's all about listening to your customers. They tell you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Rytis. Last question, or what are you most excited about or curious about at the moment, and where do you plan to focus your efforts for the remainder of 2020?
So I mean, building a business is a thing which I really which I'm really enjoying, and it's something like an art and a lot of creativity and combined with math. So this is a great thing. And yeah, in 2020, so our goal is at least to double our business, like our ARR, which is the key metric in any SaaS business, annual recurring revenue. So that's, and we are on that path now. So really, it's not easy, but yeah, that's a thing which really fascinates me a lot. And currently, we just released some great features and create more value for our customers. So I'm really happy about them as well, like conditional split automations and some like improved analytics, advanced reporting, and all that stuff. So really happy about the progress which is happening about the organization. So
Cool. And how can our audience get in touch with you if they want to learn more about omni-channel marketing for their own startup?
yeah, sure. So omniscient.com, we have a resources center there and blogs. So really you can find a lot of great tips and hints and articles for all the way from beginners to really mid-size customers and advanced marketers. So you can find a lot of great resources there. And yeah, if you would like to try Omniscient, so you can sign up there. There is a free plan there for the beginners, so you can just request a demo and talk to our salespeople. And personally, myself, I prefer LinkedIn and Twitter, so those social media channels where we can talk to each other and follow each other.
Okay, awesome. We'll put all those links into our show notes as well, so you guys can get in touch with Rytis here. All right, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation, Rytis, and
thank you, Akeel. Great to talk to you. Thanks for inviting.
Thank you all for listening in to today's episode. Don't forget to join us for another episode where we interview top leaders, and experts in the business and SaaS industry. If you enjoyed this episode, I ask that you please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. That would be really, really appreciated. Otherwise, if you have any feedback, suggestions, or improvements for this podcast, please feel free to send it directly to me on our website at horizoncapital.com. Or you can just tweet me at Akeel Jabbar. Thanks again, and hope to see you guys on the next episode.